The moon hung low in the night sky, casting a silvery pallor over the decaying Penhurst Asylum. It stood like a hulking monolith against the darkness, its shattered windows glistening with an eerie, malevolent glow. I couldn't believe I was about to enter this infamous place, alone, at night. As I stepped over the threshold, a chilling draft wrapped around me, whispering secrets of the past. The asylum was a labyrinth of crumbling corridors and peeling paint, where the walls seemed to pulse with a sinister energy. The silence was oppressive, a heavy blanket that smothered any sound, leaving only the erratic beat of my heart echoing in my ears. My flashlight sliced through the gloom, revealing forgotten horrors at every turn. Rusty bed frames, discarded restraints, and shattered glass were the remnants of the asylum's dark history. It was said that Penhurst had been a house of torment, where the vulnerable had been subjected to unspeakable cruelties. As I ventured deeper, strange and disturbing sounds echoed through the corridors. A low, mournful moaning and the faint shuffle of unseen footsteps. I tried to convince myself that it was my imagination playing tricks, but the fear gnawed at my sanity. In a forgotten corner, I discovered a journal, its pages brittle and yellowed with age. It belonged to a former staff member who chronicled the horrors they had witnessed, the inhuman experiments, the screams of the tormented, and the malevolent entity that seemed to feed on the suffering. I dismissed it as the ramblings of a deranged mind until I heard a soft, disembodied whisper in the air, barely audible, but undeniably present. It called my name, a ghostly voice that sent shivers down my spine. My heart pounded as I continued to explore the asylum, my footsteps growing heavier with dread. I entered a room that seemed untouched by time, its walls adorned with peeling floral wallpaper. In the dim light, I noticed an old wooden rocking chair swaying gently, as if propelled by invisible hands. A sense of dread washed over me as the chair creaked to a stop. Then, a spectral figure materialized before me, its form ethereal and indistinct. It beckoned to me, its voice a hollow, echoing whisper. I stumbled backward, my heart racing as I fled from the room. The asylum seemed to shift and warp around me, its corridors leading me in endless circles. Panic clawed at my mind as I struggled to find the way out. Finally, I burst through the front door, gasping for breath, the cold night air a blessed relief. I refused to look back, fearing what might follow me out of that accursed place. The memory of that night in Penhurst Asylum still haunts me. The oppressive silence, the spectral voices, and the malevolent presence that lurked in the shadows. They are etched into my soul. Some horrors should never be confronted, for they awaken the darkest corners of the human psyche and reveal the true depths of our fears. The wind whispered through the gnarled branches of the ancient trees that surrounded Waverly Hills Sanatorium, sending a chill down my spine. The moon hung low in the sky, casting eerie shadows on the dilapidated building that loomed before me. My heart pounded in my chest as I stood at the entrance, the weight of the dare pressing down on me. It all started with a seemingly innocent conversation amongst friends gathered around a campfire. As the night wore on and the fire's embers glowed, the conversation turned to ghost stories and local legends. That's when someone mentioned Waverly Hills Sanatorium, the notorious tuberculosis hospital that had witnessed countless deaths and eerie occurrences. The dare had been simple but spine-chilling. Spend the entire night alone inside Waverly Hills Sanatorium. It was a rite of passage, a test of bravery, and there was no way I could back down in front of my friends. So, here I stood, the weight of their expectations and my own fear pressing upon me. As I pushed open the creaking door, a rush of cold air greeted me. The musty scent of decay filled my nostrils, and the darkness seemed to swallow me whole. I flicked on my flashlight, its feeble beam revealing a corridor that stretched endlessly into the depths of the building. Every step echoed through the silence, as if the very walls of Waverly Hills were watching and waiting. The stories of the sanatorium's haunting whispered through my mind, the ghostly apparitions, the tortured souls of the patients who had suffered and died here. I couldn't help but feel their presence, lurking in the shadows. I reached a set of rusted metal doors that led to the underground tunnels, where they used to transport the deceased discreetly to prevent panic among the living. The chill in the air seemed to intensify as I descended, and the claustrophobic tunnels closed in around me. As I ventured deeper, strange noises began to echo through the tunnels. A distant moan, a faint whisper. My heart raced, and beads of sweat formed on my brow. I quickened my pace, desperate to escape the haunting sounds. Emerging into another corridor, I stumbled upon a room that sent shivers down my spine. The walls were adorned with photographs of emaciated patients, their hollow eyes staring out at me. It was a grim reminder of the suffering that had taken place within these walls. I moved on, my flashlight guiding me through the labyrinthine halls. Each corner turned, each door opened, seemed to bring me closer to the unknown. And then as I rounded a corner, I froze. Standing before me was a shadowy figure, its form flickering in and out of existence. It was a patient, a specter of the past, and its hollow eyes bore into my soul. I couldn't move, couldn't breathe, as it raised a bony finger and pointed accusingly at me. In a rush of adrenaline, I turned and fled, stumbling through the darkness, back through the tunnels and out into the cold night air. I didn't stop running until I was far from Waverly Hills. As I reunited with my friends, they could see the terror in my eyes. I had survived the night inside that accursed place, but I would never forget the horrors I had witnessed. The dare had been completed, but at what cost? Waverly Hills Sanatorium had lived up to its reputation, and I had no doubt that the spirits of the past still roamed its halls, waiting for the next unsuspecting soul to dare to enter their domain.